Hello, killers and castaways. My name is TV Skyn, and we are on an ongoing quest to start doing some of these dish-darn diggity-dang dumb loyalty missions that we have to do to get our crew to trust us. And I think at this point it's time for the most boring man on the ship to finally have his day in the sun. And to finally have, to be fair, a relatively interesting loyalty mission. That's got some stuff going on in it. Some stuff and some things. Some things and some stuff. But before we do that, well, I need to find the anomaly. 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 There you go. Found that. And since this planet is rich and it has EZO, really not that I need any more of it. I have plenty, but I can't just assess the planet is rich, so I have to make it poor. That's praxis. There we go. 2175 Aya. Named after an Asari scientist, this remote planet appears to have been on the list of forbidden mass relays that led to uncharted space. The little data available comes from one far-off probe flyby that reports 2 planets orbiting a white dwarf star. Your own scans yield far more interesting results. The planet is within the habitable zone of the star. It has oceans of liquid water and a thin nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, consistent with carbon-based plant life. It is possible this is an as-yet unexplored garden world.
Well, let's go have a look!
Jacob, yes. Thinking brain, what else do I need on this mission? Except Jacob has the... Yeah, he has the fire ammo. And I'd say... Let's take Miranda. Again, because Miranda and Jacob are like the only character who have connections to each other, really. Like, or rather... Between the characters that have connections with one another, it's like Miranda and Jacob are like the only ones who give a shit about each other, and everyone else is like, yeah, Cerberus people don't work for them. Let's get you away from the Locust, though, because you need the Tempest submachine gun. And Jacob, you know, the Eviscerator, you have the Carnifex. That seems to be alright. I'm on the Vindicator, the Locust, the Carnifex. Remembering what I have to fight in this mission, it might be worth... Yeah. Taking the Matic this time around. It's quite a pretty place. It's amazing how palms just seem to evolve everywhere in the galaxy. It's like, go to a planet 6 solar systems away and, yep, still palms. Somehow they're here. Okay, right. Jacob, activate incendiary ammo, would you please? And then also do that on the other weapons.
Change weapons, rearming.
Good. Now you two have incendiary ammo going on. Cool. Now I want warp ammo on my weapons. Which is an extended little process to make sure that it's all prepared for the combat encounter that may come. Really wish there was a faster way to do that, but... C'est la vie, mon ami. C'est la vie. So, but we've talked about this before. We talked about in the Shadow Broker DLC how, like, Liara in her office has a diploma from a university that looks exactly like a diploma from an Earth university, but why would they look like that if they're from Ilium out in space in an Asari university with its own traditions? And it's all about coding. Like, it's about making it recognizable to us. These palm trees and like these sort of looks like deciduous leaves and whatever, that's not designed that way because that's necessarily particularly plausible from like a sci-fi or scientific perspective, or even because like it's very good sci-fi at all, but because, okay, this means we know how to relate to this environment. This is a tropical environment. This is a jungle environment. Okay, we know what we're dealing with here. We know how to approach this from a storytelling perspective. Like, this environment does some storytelling for us about the kinds of stuff that we can expect to encounter here.
There it is, and mostly intact. They could have survived impact, but it's been years.
Anyway, to remind you, we're here for the Hugo Gernsback, which is this ship that Jacob's father was on, which has been lost for 10 years, but now all of a sudden Jacob got a message about some possible location.
Looks like it was stripped after the crash. They'd have tried to get a beacon up as soon as possible.
Along with this anymore. We've done horrible things to the crew. The conditions they're in, they don't understand what we're doing to them. Distract them for 2 seconds and they forget what you did before the bruises show. It's got to stop. I'm talking to the others as soon as...
Forget what you did before the bruises show. Well, that sounds a little...
Good work.
Ominous. That doesn't sound good. She used to say no and threatened to report me if I kept sending messages. I can imagine what those messages contained. But now she's so innocent? Oh boy.
What was her name? Sarah? Suzanne? My God, I can't remember. I can't remember her face. We need to get out so I can remember, can think straight. They have to hurry.
I'll just steal some money, I guess?
His replacement doesn't command the same level of respect. I'm hoping the man has it in him, but I don't.
So, Captain died. You can't just bump up the line of command. Huh. So someone died and whoever was next in the hierarchy took charge, huh?
Repeat. Toxology alert. Danger of rapid neural decay. Local flora chemically incompatible with human physiology. Override. Beacon resumed. Pause time 8 years, 237 days, 7 hours.
Interesting. So the storytelling here is they survived the crash.
Repeat. Toxology alert. Danger of rapid neural decay. Local flora chemically incompatible with human physiology.
From the look of it, this beacon's been here a while. Why would they wait years to signal?
Pause in beacon protocol. 8 years, 237 days, 7 hours. Pause is recorded as record deleted by acting captain Ronald Taylor.
That's not right. My father was first officer.
Ronald Taylor was promoted under emergency command protocols. Other flagged issues: unsafe deceleration, local food and neural decay, beacon activation protocols.
I assume unsafe deceleration refers to the crash. Give me the details.
Following an unspecified impact and sublight drive failure, the Hugo Gernsback made an unscheduled descent at 465% of theoretical recommended suborbital velocity. The Hugo Gernsback then decelerated at 782% of theoretical recommended approach velocity, sustaining significant damage to investment and crew.
Investment and crew.
Who is in command of this ship? Where are the survivors?
Captain Harris Fairchild reported killed following unscheduled suborbital descent. First Officer Ronald Taylor promoted in-field to acting captain.
But where is he now?
The location of the remaining crew of the Hugo Gernsback is unknown. This beacon has been unattended for several maintenance cycles.
Local food impairs brain functions? What are the effects?
Impairment of mental function due to chemical imbalance begins within 7 days of ingesting local flora, regardless of decontamination or preparation. Impact on higher cognitive abilities and long-term memory is cumulative, but significant within a standard month. It is not known if neural decay is permanent. Data collection was not completed.
Huh.
Why wasn't the beacon activated before now?
This emergency beacon became functional after 358 days, 12 hours, following the unscheduled suborbital descent of the Hugo Gernsback. Activation was triggered remotely after 8 years, 237 days, 7 hours, on the authority of Acting Captain Ronald Taylor. Pause in beacon protocol is recorded as record deleted.
Come on, let's get going.
My father had a working beacon, but didn't signal for almost 9 years. Maybe that neural decay affected him.
Avoiding it for a decade seems unlikely.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit sketchy, doesn't it? Which is where we come back to the flora. Well, eventually.
You came from the sky? The leader said someone would come. He delayed for so long, but he still has power. Some have lost faith. The hunters. They will have seen your star. They will not let you help him.
What are you talking about? You're not making sense.
I don't remember how to say it. He's our leader and we serve so we can go home. But some want to fight him. They were cast out. He exiled them. So they hunt his machines and those who help him. They don't believe that rescue...
Watch out!
Hunters, they won't stop until the leader is dead.
Kill them! Agents of the liar! He will not escape!
You're up!
These people somehow have shields. Oh, really? Ah, shit, there's more. Yay! Oh, no, 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 no. No shotgun for you, my friend. Go take a bath.
That wasn't neural decay. They were feral.
My father wouldn't let this go on. Something is very wrong.
You killed them, but there are more every day. They want to fight, but I just want to go home.
She's lost it. We need to find someone who can make sense of this.
Well, that might be easier said than done.
Strip for parts. Tech's wearing out. Those hunters must be laying on the pressure. Is that a settlement? They'd better be friendlier than the beach group. I need answers.
They're clearly docile, but in the same uniform remnants as those who attacked us.
There aren't any men here. Maybe it affects genders differently? Makes males get violent.
Possibly. But the woman on the beach said the exiled ones came back as hunters.
It doesn't matter right now. One of these people must know what my father has to do with this.
You have his face. He promised to call the sky, but he sends nothing.
He forced us to eat, to decay. You are cursed with his face.
Not the best reaction to the family resemblance, Jacob.
Why would my father force his crew to eat toxic food? Whatever's happening here needs to stop. Look at these spoiled food stores. They've been eating only that toxic local food for who knows how long. Like that wasn't obvious enough.
He has a cruel face. His cruel face.
Go away. You are like him. You will keep us here.
I can't talk to you. I don't want punishing.
Yeah, I can understand that.
What the hell? Somebody had to push them to make that. That's borderline worship.
Oh boy.
Your captain demands weapons are forbidden.
Well, that's a good sign.
Trolls like that are a little much against this bunch.
Well, that would make them hate him. Maybe it was just for defense.
Sure.
Please, here. You could end it. You have his face, but you fight his machines. You might stop this. This, I forget how to read, but this was the start. What he promised, and what they did to us. We need the sky. Take us back to the sky.
Jacob, what does it say?
It's a crew logbook. Some of them thought the beacon repair was taking too long. They were afraid they'd run out of supplies and lose their minds to the decay. My father restricted the ship food for himself and the other officers so they wouldn't be affected. Everybody else had to eat the toxic food and hope for treatment later. The rest is a casualty list. A few mutinied over the decision. My father and his officers turned the mechs on them.
The beacon was fixed after a year, so the plan must have worked. Why no signal?
Those weren't the last entries on the casualty list. More incidents, harsh punishments. It's like they're cattle or toys. In a year, all the male crew members are flagged as exiled or dead. They separated out the women, assigned them to officers, like pets. And after the beacon is fixed, the officers appear in the casualties too. After. My father took control and didn't stop it.
Does it say why he separated the men and women? Or is it as bad as it seems?
No, it turns to gibberish. Maybe the men got violent early on, but from the state of this place, I'd say the Hunter thing is recent. What he allowed here, Shepard, I don't see any justification.
No, me neither.
Anything in there about whether the effects of the toxic food can be treated?
Nothing. But it seems like the right call. If everyone gets it, who's left to fix the beacon? You'd never get out, but they did fix it. And the signal wasn't sent until now. I'm starting to see why.
We haven't seen any other officers. He killed them?
There were 5 after the crash. Medical, engineering, bridge staff. Should have had no problem fixing the beacon and keeping people safe. All killed within the same week. About a month after the beacon was repaired.
Do you see an explanation for this? He's your father.
Is he? None of this fits. Maybe the initial decision, but the rest? Abuse of power doesn't get any clearer than this. I need to find this man.
Yeah. Abuse of power doesn't get much clearer. I'm not commenting much on this, mostly because it speaks for itself. This is real bad. This is very, 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 very extremely just. Oh, about as bad gets. So we've talked before about how Mass Effect 2 is allowed to get a little darker. This is one of the darkest things. This is quite dark indeed.
This is Captain Ronald Taylor. Thank God you're here. My crew went insane. I only just got free.
Really now?
God damn it. It's really him. Just got free. He's covering his ass.
The old corpse has been posed, like a warning. The new ones were left where they fell.
The hunters started fighting back.
I should really rearrange my ability bar. If only I remembered how to do that. Oh, there it is. Right, yes. That's 1, 2, 3. Ugh, there's always so many.
Rerouting.
One less.
I had to keep them busy, distracted, but it's getting dangerous. Thank God you've come.
He had his fun, and now he wants out. Son of a bitch.
Hey, that's your grandmother you're talking about there.
It took years to train my guards. I'm afraid you'll have to fight them to rescue me.
Oh, will we now?
People away. This thing is not my father.
I'm afraid you'll have to fight them to free me. Sorry, just unfortunate circumstances. Just how it happens to go. It's too bad, really, that this is how it has to end. Like, that's supervillain speech. Okay, I need a bit of vantage here. Sorry, dude. No, there isn't, Miranda, but... Oh, bloody hell. Yeah. Ah! Fuck me sideways. What the fuck just hit me? Oh, his ads. Hello, hi! Oh, that's not great. Okay. Stabilizing.
Enough with the toys. I need to look my father in the eye and hear him justify this.
Oh, I don't think you should get your hopes up about that, Jacob. I don't think you should get your hopes up about that.
Hostiles are cleared.
Let's just grab items before we... Is there anything here to take? Nope.
You're here. I knew a real squad would blow through just fine. Sorry if the mech scuffed your pads. I'll get you something nice when we get back to Alliance base. I've got to have some back pay coming.
What about your crew, acting captain?
Total loss. The toxic food turned them wild. They propped me up here in some kind of ritual behavior. Waiting for a chance to signal has been hell.
That's the best you can do?
You let all your people talk back like that? Who are you exactly?
Commander Shepard of the Normandy. I believe you're acquainted with Mr. Taylor.
Taylor? Jacob? No. Not Jacob.
Why not me? Would 10 years of this look better to anyone else in the galaxy?
You have to understand, this isn't me. The realities of command, they change you. I wasn't ready for that. I made sure you were taught right. Before I left, I hoped to leave it at that.
I'm not biting, Captain. At some point, you chose to do this to your crew. You.
What was that moment? I want to know that there was an actual reason.
There was resistance to the plan. Mutiny. We had to take a hard line to keep order. And things settled down. As the decay set in, we made sure the crew were comfortable. Some even seemed happier. Ignorance is bliss, right? And they were grateful for guidance, like an instinct. Pure authority was easy, at first. Months in, the effect lowered inhibitions. They got territorial. Rank, protocol, they couldn't understand. We had to establish dominance. After a while, the perks seemed normal.
That's it? You created a harem and played king? 10 years in a juvenile fantasy?
I can't point to where it all went wrong. But when the beacon was ready, revealing what happened didn't seem like a good idea.
Fuck you.
What happened to the other officers?
Anders found his conscience a little late to step back. He had an accident. Things got tense. End of the day, I was the one with the mechs. I got a little basic in setting examples. But I was kind to my people once things settled down. Seemed like I'd earned some peace.
Earned.
You fought over people like they were toys. Things.
The stores from the ship couldn't last forever. You had to know this would end one day.
Dining for one can really stretch things out. Besides, I can think of a lot worse retirement plans than stripping down and joining the droolers. That was before the hunters, of course. Dumb or not, I'd feel it if they got their hands on me now. They want blood. I'd prefer to keep it.
It's all about you. Everything.
What triggered the males to change and threaten you?
This planet has some strange cycles to it. I've seen some plants around I never saw before. Odd weather. Maybe some just adapted a little too well.
And if you treat them like animals, big shock. They become animals.
There's no way I'm letting this slide, Taylor. The price will be paid.
How much? What kind of math can balance these lives? His life isn't worth pulling the damn trigger. I don't know who you are, because you're not any father I remember.
Like, I mean, just put a bullet in him. Like, what he has done, man. We could also just leave him here to be torn apart by the hunters if he wants to, but let's do the right thing. Is there any law that can make a man answer for something like that? I don't know.
We'll secure him for an alliance court. For every year here, he'll have 10 to think about it.
Give him all the time in the galaxy. The man who did this doesn't know right from wrong.
I'm sorry, Jacob. I did the best I could.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
10 years past believing that.
No, you didn't. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're the best you could. No. No. You did the bare minimum. You did the bare minimum. And once you had done the bare minimum, you were like, well, I deserve some rewards for doing the bare minimum, so let me just abuse all this power I have. Like, oh. Every time I don't put a bullet in him, I feel bad. Like, honestly, because this is like some fucking... So, remember how I brought up the jungle environment, right? That's part of the environmental storytelling. What the game wants us to think here is in terms of Lord of the Flies. It's basically the same concept. A bunch of, like, civilized, large air quotes, people land in a tropical, on a tropical uncharted island, in this case a planet, and very quickly the trappings of civilization fall away, and they return to a kind of sort of pre-civilization brutality that we in Western culture associate with barbarians. Now, in truth, in actual fact, when human beings are trapped in situations like this, like people who are trapped in shipwrecks or from plane crashes and stuff like that, what the behavior that we see among people is actually tremendous collaboration and self-sacrifice and cooperation and an instinctive understanding that when you're in a situation like that, other people are the only lifeline that you have. Like, they are the only thing that secures your own health and safety And so we become naturally very collaborative. That's how we evolved as a species, to be intensely social and collaborative with one another. We did not evolve, despite what some fucking libertarians might say, for selfishness. So the behavior we see here from Jacob's father, that's not just humans doing the natural human thing. And that's also one of the things about Lord of the Flies, is it was written as a critique of English imperialism, essentially, like of this sort of English eugenics, sort of white supremacy, race science bullshit of like, oh yes, the white man with his superior cultivation and superior mind with which to create civilization, blah, 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 blah. Like that bullshit, right? It was written as a critique of that, saying, no, actually, you know what, we are every bit as, air quotes, savage and like wild and bizarre as all these, air quotes again, savage races that we claim to be dominant over. So it was an attempt to sort of critique that aspect of British imperialism by saying, no. Like, we are every bit, like, we're just like the savages that we claim to police. Now, the trouble with that is that it still buys into the narrative that some people are savages, and that people who don't live within the constraints of civilization are, like, wild and brutal, and, like, it buys into that, shit, which philosopher was it? The guy who said that, like, human lives in nature are short, brutish, and violent. Like that asshole. It still buys into that bullshit, which is just simply not true at all, like, even a little bit. But the behavior that we see here from Jacob's father is not natural human behavior. This is the behavior of privilege, and it's the behavior of a very particular kind of privilege. It's the behavior of someone who believed, like he said it himself, after things settled down, it seemed like I had earned some peace. Or, like, I deserve this. Like I did the bare minimum that I'm supposed to do as a leader of these people and repaired the beacon, and therefore, I deserve to take advantage of all this abuse of power that has all of a sudden become really conveniently available to me. So, it's just gonna sexually assault a bunch of women for a while. That's fun. Like, I have the right to dominance, I have the right to lead, I have the right to, like, take all the best resources for myself, I have the right to use other people as props for my own pleasure, because I did the bare minimums, I'm the leader, I'm the guy in charge. Like, it's that kind of behavior, and that kind of behavior doesn't come from nowhere, it comes from culture. Like, that's the kind of thing that, like, feminists for a long time have written about, saying, hey, this is the kind of behavior that you get from men who feel like they are entitled to be dominant, who are entitled to be in charge, who are entitled to leadership. And as we heard it from him, like, he was just like an endless series of rationalizations, like, no, here's all the reasons why the thing that I know is wrong is good, actually. It's here's why I actually did the right thing, despite the fact that the thing I did was wrong. It was no, lots of good reasons why. It was the realities of command. It's hard. It's so hard for me. I'm the real victim. Don't you see? It's that shit. And that doesn't come from human nature. That comes from society. Anyway, that was a long rant. Let's get on with it. Although, actually, one last thing. The reason I don't put a bullet in him is because that would be an abuse of power. Like, that's ultimately, well, I just freaking want to shoot him, but the reason why we don't is because that would be abuse of power. And, like, there's a point to not doing that with him.
Alliance ships are inbound to secure Captain Taylor and his crew, Commander. We'll be long gone by the time they get here.
They get as much as a glimpse, and you're restricted to decaf.
Great, may as well serve it in the airlock, you hard ass.
What do you mean it wasn't you?
Jacob, if I had leaked the information about the Gernsback, I would be smiling at your resolution of the situation. I am not smiling.
Nothing goes through this ship, my ship, without a report to you.
I had no more reason to believe Jacob's father was alive than he did, but I'm happy to know the situation is behind you.
Fine, you didn't forward it, so who did?
I did.
Figures. Who else could get into Cerberus channels?
It was hardly classified, just obscure. There was a time when it mattered to you. Sending this along seemed like keeping an old promise. I keep my promises.
Miranda, we'll discuss your liberal interpretation of security protocol in private. Shepard, Jacob.
They have history. Jacob doesn't say much about it, but basically they got a little close for a while, and then they did not get close anymore at all, whatsoever.
You good with this, Jacob?
It's all bull, Shepard. Captain Taylor can rot in prison. Doesn't change who I am or what I know. I've already mourned the man he used
Faint
to be.
praise.
I guess he was a good enough father that even he can't screw up what he taught me.
You had no idea Miranda was behind this.
No, she's got a good memory. Selective, but good. I haven't thought about those days in a long time. Can't figure which promise she meant, though. Not sure I really want to know. She requires a better man than I.
Come on, we got work to do.
Aye, Commander. Shepard, thanks for the help.
Anytime, Jacob.
Research terminal! Don't need that, but I do need this. Sniper rifle damage. Heavy pistol damage. Heavy pistol critical. More heavy pistol damage. And sniper headshot damage. And also tech damage. Is that all? Am I done? Can I not make any more stuff? I want more stuff. Need more heavy skin weave. Ah. Okay, cool. We have resolved Jacob's little issue. Oh, investigate Quarian crash site. That was one of the anomalies I discovered. That one sounds interesting. Let's take Tali to do that. There, on Gay Hinnom. Surface scans show evidence of a shipwreck meeting Quarian design specifications. Identity of ship unknown. Number of life signs detected in vicinity uncertain. Local wildlife may interfere with the accuracy of biological scan. Deal with that in a minute. I should go talk to Jacob first, though. And also see if Garrus and Thane have anything to say.
Thanks for diverting to the Gurns back, Shepard. I appreciate being able to clean up that mess. Maybe not the best way to learn about the relatives, but I'm glad it's done. What do you need?
I'm interested in getting to know you better.
Already? I'm not big on forcing these talks, Shepard. Let's do this later.
We'll talk later.
Commander.
Really? We just, you know, after the whole thing with your dad and all of that, and you don't want to... Okay, fine, fair enough.
Do you need something?
Have a few minutes to talk?
If you wish.
The last time we talked, you started speaking about a past event as if you were watching it.
Drell have perfect memories. We can relive any moment in our lives with perfect clarity. It's difficult to control at times. Some of us disappear into, let's call it solipsism.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I had to explain earlier, because he starts having those scenes a good long while before the game bothers to explain it to you.
What do you mean, solipsism?
When a memory feels as real as life, it's as valid as life. Thinking about a moment brings back the smell of cut grass, the warmth of another's hand on yours, the taste of another's tongue in your mouth. Wouldn't you rather lose yourself in such a memory than spend the night alone, staring at walls of metal and plastic?
Isn't there a risk that you could lose yourself in bad memories as well?
Of course. Remembering the times I've taken bullets is unpleasant. But I can look at my knee and see it's not shattered. The memories that are hard to escape are those of despair.
More than I wanted to know? Nah.
You can remember everything that happened in your life?
Nearly. I expect if we remembered the birth trauma, we'd never recover from it.
You can relive every assassination you've ever made?
In perfect detail. Every mistake I made. Every target's last breath.
You don't seem to feel guilty.
Why should I? My employers killed them. My body was only the tool they used. If you kill a man with your gun, do you hold the gun responsible?
I mean, the gun can't say no if I tell it to shoot, so...
My gun can't decide right from wrong. You clearly do.
My soul does. But my body is merely flesh. Flesh whose reflexes were honed to kill. Drell minds are different from humans. We see our body as a vessel, and accept that it is not always under our control.
That's a strange way of looking at yourself.
Humans often believe in a soul distinct from the body. A spirit responsible for moral reasoning that lives on after the body's death. Our belief is just a bit more literal.
The last time we talked, you remembered one of your assassinations. Something about sunset-colored eyes?
That time. Laser dot trembles on the skull. Spice on the spring wind. Sunset eyes, defiant in the scope. A bystander noticed my spotting laser and threw herself between me and the target. She couldn't see me, but she stared me down.
I do love the animation that they give him during those sequences. Like, you see his eyes darting back and forth, like these little micro movements that are consistent with the kind of movements that humans have when we experience REM sleep or really strong memories. Our eyes will dart around like that as well, reacting to something that's happening in our brains.
It was odd that you just blurted that out. Just another vivid development?
No. She was a vivid person.
Did you take the shot?
Not that day.
I should get back to my duties.
Shepard, I appreciate these chats we have.
You've spent a lot of your life alone, Thane.
Work fulfilled me. Reading. I barely spoke to anyone outside my family. It seems there will be no one to mourn me when I die. You're the only friend I've made in 10 years.
This is where you get the opportunity to push it a little bit and flirt, but no. We're a one-Turian kind of woman in this game.
This crew is pretty diverse. You must have something in common with some of them. Get out of this room and talk to them.
I shall. Consider it. I won't keep you.
Shepard, need me for something?
Have you got a minute?
Yeah. I've been thinking about what we talked about. Blowing off steam, easing tension. I've never considered cross-species intercourse. And damn, saying it that way doesn't help. Now I feel dirty and clinical. Are we crazy to even be thinking about this? I'm not... Look, Shepard, I know you can find something a little closer to home.
So this is where the game gives you an opportunity to... Like, if you've fallen hard for Thane, for example, here's an opportunity to back out, but nah.
I don't want something closer to home. I want you. I want someone I can trust.
I can do that. I'll find some music and do some research to figure out how this thing should work. It'll either be a night to treasure or a horrible interspecies awkwardness thing.
Either would be fun.
In which case, fighting the collectors will be a welcome distraction, so, you know, a win either way.
He's such a cool bro. Like...
You know, Garrus, if you're not comfortable with this, it's okay. I'm not trying to pressure you.
Shepard, you're about the only friend I've got left in this screwed-up galaxy. I'm not gonna pretend I've got a fetish for humans. But this isn't about that. This is about us. You don't ever have to worry about making me uncomfortable. Nervous, yes, but never uncomfortable.
See what I mean?
So when should I book the room?
I'd wait if you're okay with it. Disrupt the crew as little as possible and take that last chance to find some calm just before the storm. You know me, I always like to savor the last shot before popping the heatsink.
Garrus.
Wait. That metaphor just went somewhere horrible.
It went somewhere amazing.
I'll let you get back to work.
Right. Because I'm in a great place to optimize firing algorithms right now.
The other thing I like is that Shepard is the one initiating and taking charge here, which, like, is partly because the player character kind of has to make the decision and initiate, but it creates this lovely dynamic between, because it's again the thing that we read about on the Shadow Broker's base, which is that Garrus and Shepard, like, there is this sort of mentor friendship going on with them, where Garrus learns a lot from Shepard. Like, he starts out as just this cop on the Citadel, right? And then he comes with you, and he becomes like one of the most accomplished tacticians, Quarian tacticians in the entire goddamn galaxy. And like he learns so much from Shepard. And what Shepard does, like if in game 1, if you push Garrus towards being more like rule abiding and like less aggressive, that will affect him in game 2 and 3. Like that'll change a few of his behaviors, like not like massively or anything, but it does change him. And if you, when you have that mission where you go to find that doctor who's been using poor people to grow organs for like rich people, if you like go and say, yeah, let's kill that guy, which I did, Garrus does get more renegade. Like he does get more like, okay, let's just go and do the thing and not care about the rules. Like, he gets more of that. So Shepard has this influence on him over the course of it, which, like, it creates such a nice dynamic between them, because, like, it's not like Garrus is, like, a sub. Like, he's not, like, submissive to Shepard or anything, but there is this, like, there's this bond of tremendous respect where Garrus probably would never initiate it because, like, he's like, no, I respect her way too much. That would be inappropriate. I'm a Turian, blah, blah, blah. And I like that dynamic that Shepard, like, because that's what Shepard does with Garrus, like, their dynamic outside of the whole romantic sexual tension thing, is Shepard pushes Garrus to develop more as a person, like, to find himself, his own voice, who he wants to be in the galaxy, who he wants to be as a vigilante who murders criminals, but that's besides the point. Like, Shepard pushes Garrus towards self-realization, and one of the places that she pushes him a little bit, like, to consider, hey, don't just think of me as, like, your friend mentor. There's, like, there can be more to this relationship if you want it. And then Garrus realizes that, oh, actually, yeah, I do. And it's, I really like that dynamic. I think it's cute. I think it's adorable. Fucking looking at, it's also just fun to make Garrus flustered like that. Just to see him like, because like in so much else of the game, he's so cool and level-headed and kind of sarcastic, and then you bring this up and he's like, what? Yeah, that's actually, adorable nerd.
This mission takes me back. Collectors and Protheans. It's all about my pay grade. I'm more used to putting down rebellions, tracking down bastards who didn't pay their gambling debts. Still, even I know a galaxy-shaking revelation when I hear one. Makes fighting land wars for pay seem small time. Can't say I blame Taylor's pop. A man does what he has to do to survive. Ran up against a Batarian camp, not too different from that one. Job was to erase the whole thing from the map. Men, women, and the man in charge. Learned that day that despots are cowards. You show them you're in charge, not them, and they cry like little girls.
I do blame Jacob's father, but I'm not surprised that you would feel differently, Saeed.
I should let you go. Talk more later, Shepard.
Oh, don't count on it, bastard. But it's like, Zaid is like an interesting sort of moral parallel character, because it's not like we've probably murdered about as many people as he has. Like, when you tally it all up, as many, not human lives, I was about to say, but as many people have been ended by us as have been ended by Zaid. So, like, there's a level of moral relativism here. That is, like, maybe you can't get too high and mighty when you're playing, like, murder bromec space cop out to kill as many mercenaries as it takes to, you know, complete the mission, etc. Anyway, let's do this side mission and then call it an episode. Tali, you want to come with me for this one? And Jacob, put on your fancy new suit, my man. And also, okay, he already has it. Cool. So, life forms are down here, which means we're probably dealing with armor. So I guess we'll take Grunt on this one. Yes, get that squad incendiary ammo going. Good. And here you see some acid reuse from Jacob's loyalty mission, by the way. Ah, Varen. Should have known. Okay, Grunt. You start us off.
I'm detecting a single Quarian life
multiple native life signs near your landing site.
Right, so let's get to that Quarian, shall we? Once I have put the ammunition on all my guns. Yoink. And also put on my armor. There we go. Grab some palladium. Personal logs. Commence pilot's record. We managed to escape the Geth's notice thanks to some clever work in silencing Syniad's engines, but the strain on the old ship was too much. The best we can hope for is to find a friendly spot somewhere in the Sheol system. Our reports show that it isn't extremely likely. We were nervous scouting this close to the Perseus Veil, and we were right to be. At this point, I'm afraid we will never see the Micron fleet again. With everything that Syniad has been through, it seems like an ignoble end. First few hours. The landing was rough, but we managed to salvage the wreckage the things we need to survive. Unfortunately, Lieutenant Commander Gorlat didn't make it, leaving me the senior officer in charge. We've scouted the landscape and found the planet to be extremely hostile. We don't dare remove our environment suits here. We're all hoping to be rescued before there's any danger of exposure. Missing survivors. I don't know who or what is taking them, but we've now lost more than half the crew who survived the crash. We hope to build a camp here to survive until the Edena found our beacon, but something is hunting us. I have to keep the crew together the best I can. We will send out a search party when the day comes. I will find my crew and we will do whatever it takes to return to the Edena. The Edena is a name we've heard before, by the way. Anyway, let's shoot some Varen, shall we? Oh, god damn it. Dude.
Quarian life signs are stabilized. I recommend securing the area in preparation for shuttle extraction.
Well, this is not great.
Ambush incoming.
No cover here, because we don't need it. What we need...
Eat this.
Grunt is good on this one, I see. Nope. What the fuck? Oh, there's one right in front of me. Ah! Okay, well, this is... I didn't realize they'd come from behind as well. Okay, he's alive. He's alive. Barely, but he's alive. How do I have a shotgun now? Oh, she's alive. Sorry. I think. She. Feminine, anyway. Oh, insanity difficulty. Insanity difficulty hard. Really should have thought of that. My plan was to use the heavy pistol, like to shoot them once or twice to take off the armor and then hit them with the throw. Turns out I need to be able to shoot faster than that. Syniad, thank you. From Captain Izin Malvazidena. Commander Shepard, please accept my sincere appreciation for your efforts in locating the wreckage of the Syniad. That ship has a storied history with both the Micron fleet and Cerberus, and we are pleased to know that her wreckage can be salvaged by my people. In finding and stabilizing Lieutenant Forzan, you have returned to the flotilla one of her newest and most honored heroes. Your efforts in furthering the Quarian search for a new homeworld will be remembered. And that's the connection with the Edena. That's the ship that Cerberus once infiltrated and attacked over the course of chasing down some biotic or another. From Leslie. I'm Leslie. I was on Aya. The food made me sick. The doctors are helping me now. One doctor knows Jacob. He says he can tell you this. He could write this for me, but I want to do it. I need to use my words. My words are coming back. I can talk well. Reading is hard, but I'm getting better. I have to get better. Taylor wanted me like this. He wanted my words gone. I have to show him that he lost. I am not weak. He did things to me, and he can't now. He can't take away my words. He can't make me not me anymore because you and Jacob stopped him. Thank you, Leslie. still want to put a bullet in that man. Fuck that guy. Anyway, can we talk to Thane again, or am I misremembering?
Do you need something?
Have a few minutes to talk?
Very well. I had been recording a message for Kolyat.
How are things going with him?
It is difficult. All things worth keeping are. I never explained. I suppose the story of my wife's death took you by surprise.
I figured you'd explain to me when you were ready.
I appreciate your patience. I kept my work clear of our home life. I assumed that would be enough to protect Erica. That memory I mentioned before. Laser gun trembles on the target's skull. The smell of spice on a spring wind. Sunset eyes defiant in the scope. That was Erica. That was how I met her. She saw my targeting laser as she walked by and threw herself in the way.
I guess she impressed you.
She woke me up. Her body trembles. Not fear. Indignation. Her mouth moves. How dare you? You and I trained to sacrifice ourselves to save others. How often does a civilian step in the way of a bullet to protect someone they've never met? I thought she was the goddess Arashu. She met my eyes through the scope, and my purpose faltered.
So how'd she go from blocking your shot to having your children?
I had to meet her. The memory possessed and endowed me. I fell on my knees before her, begged her pardon. She introduced me to the world beyond my work. Eventually, she forgave me. Later, she loved me.
He's very much a wife guy.
When you talked to Kolyat, you said she died.
I let myself become complacent. I thought Erica and Kolyat were safe. I stayed away too long, and my enemies came for her.
Who came for her?
Batarians, a slaver ring that was preying on Hanar outer colonies. I'd killed their leaders. They paid the shadow broker to find out who I was. But they were afraid of me, so they went after her.
You told Kolyat that you hunted her killers down.
Erica woke me up. When she passed, I returned to my battle sleep. My body hunted her killers, murdered them. I was taught to grant death quickly, cleanly, to minimize suffering. Them, I let them linger.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
I don't blame you. They killed innocents to get to you.
For you and me, death is business. For people like them, it is sport. I haven't spoken about my wife, and I don't think I ever have. I didn't have anyone left to tell it to.
And then this famous line. I mean, whatever. But it's been memed on in the Mass Effect community endlessly. But basically, like, you have this heartfelt conversation with him about his dead wife. And then it's like, hey, do you want a bone? It just comes up. It's just so, oh god, it's just not placed in a very good place. Like, maybe leave it for the next conversation. When you think about it, it just gets funnier. Just focus on your son.
You're talking to your son again. That's huge. Don't lose sight of that by dwelling on should-have-beens.
You are correct, of course. Thank you for listening, Siha.
I think my translator just glitched. What did you call me?
Siha. Someday I'll tell you what it means.
Yes. Yes, you will. And it's very charming. It's just... I'm sad your wife is dead and your son hates you. Let's fuck! And so the reason why it's that way...
Commander, what can I do for you?
Is that the way the... Okay, let's talk about that in a
You
second.
have a minute, Miranda?
There's a lot to do, Shepard. Maybe another time.
Right. So the way the conversation wheel works in Mass Effect, and this is actually something that the game kind of, like the Mass Effect series, kind of revolutionized this style of conversation options, because it used to be you just picked from a list, right? So you have this wheel, which is more convenient for control, of course, but also the way that they summarize, because it used to be in games like Baldur's Gate, for example, that it would just show you in its entirety, what do you want your character to say to the other character? Well, here's the entire line that you're going to say, and you can pick that line and say it to the character. What Mass Effect did was that they took okay, let's summarize the essential information of what is Shepard going to say, and then we'll just let the voice actor deliver the full line. And that was a really, really hard balancing act of trying to cram all the information necessary to communicate what Shepard is going to ask about into as few words as possible, like into usually 5 or 6 words, no more than that, to get a vibe for what Shepard is going to say. And what we saw in that conversation is one of the times when it doesn't work out so good. There's plenty of times in Mass Effect 1 where the vibe of what Shepard is going to say is not clear, like not at all clear from the words in the conversation wheel, because they were the first ones to do it. They were the first ones to try and figure out how to make this work. In Mass Effect 2, it gets a lot better. In Mass Effect 3, it's also better. But the one where it's like, I want you, Thane. Please bone me right here on the tape. Like that. That's one of the times where, like, oh, you should maybe have summarized that one differently. Maybe that one shouldn't have gone there. But it's
I'll let you work.
It's an artifact of BioWare trying to, like, genuinely do something innovative when it comes to how you select conversations for characters in RPGs like this. Like, they were genuinely, they were some of the first people to even attempt like a conversation system like this. And nowadays in like massive RPGs, conversation systems like this are much more common because BioWare kind of laid the groundwork and figured out how to design conversation systems like that. Let's see if we can get something out of Jacob.
Commander, can I help you with something?
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Sounds good. I could use some downtime. There's always something, right? The way some people talk, we may as well be dead already. Hard for the crew to relax on this kind of job.
No kidding. The next Normandy gets a lounge.
They better not need to do this again. Rebuilding everything was a pain in the ass.
I can verify that.
Yeah, I bet you can. I doubt they'll front the money to stitch me back together if we screw it up. It's a hell of a job, isn't it, Shepard? Being the good guys.
Well, you know, nominally the good guys, but...
Wouldn't be the high road if it was easy.
You've got to figure if all the people hoping we win stood up, the collectors would have a much bigger fight on their hands. Claws, whatever. I bet we have a lot more friends once we win. Hope we live to see it.
I hear that.
Anyway, I need to get back to work. Good talking to you.
And that's sort of the relationship you have with Jacob when you don't pursue a romance with him. It's just like, hey, what's up, bro? Not much, dude. Want to shoot the shit for 2 seconds? Yeah, sure, let's shoot the shit for 2 seconds. Like that kind of bro relationship. Anyway, I should talk to Joke. No, actually, it's too late to talk to Joker. I already went on the other mission. Doesn't matter. Anyway, after that little exchange with Thane, we have settled in on our romance with Garrus for this playthrough because, like, I always romance Garrus when I'm playing female Shepard, which I usually am, because he's just the best. It's just the most fun relationship in the game, I think. Whereas Thane has more of that delicious, like, oh, time is limited, is this tragic, very... Like, he's much more of a romantic, where Garrus is much more of, like, your bro, who eventually are like, hey, bro, wouldn't it be weird if we made out? Yeah, bro, it would be totally weird. Want to do it? Yeah. Like, it's more that vibe. But, you know, I considered changing the romance, maybe, like, romance Thane, or maybe do something stupid and romance Caden, or something like, I considered it. But, like, goddammit, you get to this game and you get the dynamic with Garrus and, like, the way he talks back to you and makes fun of you. And the way that he flirts with you, just that little bit, like, after you rescue him, like some women find facial scars attractive. Like, that little flirt right there, and it's just like, fuck, goddammit, this dynamic is so good. I love this relationship. Fuck, I can't have a playthrough on my channel where I don't show off what I consider the best relationship in the series, which is a subjective opinion, but nonetheless. Anyway, if you want to see me show off more of that's the best relationship in the series, you're going to have to come back for future episodes. Fortunately, the like, comment, and subscribe buttons down below can help you do that. Also, the bell icon. So you can use those if you want to. If you want to watch episodes on this channel of things early, like basically just as soon as I finish them and upload them, more or less, then you can become a member on this channel, which will get, like, when I am uploading a lot of content to this channel, which is not always, but it certainly is right now as I'm playing through Mass Effect games, you'll get access to those episodes before absolutely everyone else, in case that's a thing that you want. I also have a Patreon, a merchandise store, and a tip jar. You can use them if you want to. If you don't want to, you do not have to. Outside of that, thanks for watching. Wear a mask, wash your hands, take the vaccine when it comes, and try to act with solidarity towards those who are working to make the world a better place.